And I told you I'd outlive you, because I was the most likely to die for many years. But that was...
Recall Keith Richards, a figure celebrated in rock and roll for his remarkable triumphs and infamous indulgences. One strange thing is, even if you consider yourself a devoted follower, don't assume you know the full story. Beyond his fiery stage performances, Keith's life remains shrouded in mystery, filled with unsettling secrets. While you are struggling to find those mysteries, pause to watch this video where we will reveal all. Let's get started. This will definitely be what the audience is most curious about. Richards and Pallenberg's relationship was nothing short of legendary. They were the epitome of rock and roll glamour and rebellion, living together in a whirlwind of excess, creativity, and controversy. The couple settled in London, where they would go on to have 3 children, Marlon, Angela, and Tara. But Pallenberg's influence on the Rolling Stones went far beyond her role as Richards' partner. She was a muse, a collaborator, and an integral part of the band's inner circle. Her unique style and fierce intelligence left a lasting impression on the band, influencing not only their music, but also their image and the social circles they moved in. One of Pallenberg's most notable contributions to the Rolling Stones was her involvement in the recording of Sympathy for the Devil, one of the band's most iconic tracks. Her voice can be heard in the background, adding an eerie, almost otherworldly dimension to the song. But her influence wasn't limited to the recording studio. Pallenberg's presence was so significant that she was considered by some to be as much a part of the band as Richards or Mick Jagger. Joe Bergman, who was the band's personal assistant from 1967 to 1973, famously said, "Anita is as much a member of the Rolling Stones as any of them." However, Pallenberg's relationship with Richards was far from idyllic. The couple's life together was marked by heavy drug use and the kind of excess that was typical of the rock and roll lifestyle of the time. Heroin addiction took a serious toll on both Pallenberg and Richards, leading to a downward spiral that was exacerbated by the pressures of fame and the chaotic nature of their lives. The strain of their addiction, combined with Richards' grueling tour schedule and the demands of their growing family, caused the couple to drift apart. By 1980, their relationship had deteriorated to the point where they decided to separate. The end of their relationship coincided with a pivotal moment in Richards' life. Around the time of their separation, Richards met Patty Hansen, a supermodel who would go on to become his second wife. Their meeting at the legendary Studio 54 marked the beginning of a new chapter for Richards, one that was markedly more stable than his years with Pallenberg. Hansen, known for her beauty and down-to-earth nature, brought a sense of calm and stability to Richards's life that had been missing for years. The couple married in 1983 and have remained together for nearly 4 decades, a testament to the strength of their bond. Now let's go back in time to Keith Richards' early years, and we will discover many interesting things. Before becoming one of the most iconic figures in rock history, Richards had a surprisingly conventional and somewhat wholesome childhood. His early involvement with music began in the choir at his local church. According to The Guardian, young Keith was a choir boy who sang soprano. His talents were recognized early on, and he performed at prestigious venues such as Westminster Abbey, even singing for Queen Elizabeth II. This period of his life was marked by an adherence to discipline and the structure of choral music, which contrasts starkly with his later rock star lifestyle. The experience of singing in a choir and performing for royalty may have instilled in him a sense of precision and an appreciation for musical traditions, elements that would later influence his distinctive guitar work and musical style. Richards' involvement with the Boy Scouts was another aspect of his early life that highlights his formative years. He was a member of the Scouts, eventually leading a beaver patrol. This role in the Boy Scouts taught him important lessons about teamwork and leadership, skills that would become crucial in his later career. His time as a scout was not without its own set of challenges, though. Richards' tenure in the Scouts came to an end after an altercation, a foreshadowing of the rebellious streak that would come to define his rock star persona. The contrast between Richards' early life and his later rock and roll career is striking. As a boy, he was involved in activities that emphasized discipline and structure, yet he also exhibited a defiant streak that would later manifest in his music and public life. His early experiences in the choir and scouts were pivotal in shaping his character, providing him with both a sense of discipline and a knack for leadership. Richards' early involvement with music and his participation in organized activities laid the groundwork for his future career, but they also highlight an interesting paradox. While he was learning the values of teamwork and precision as a scout and experiencing the structure of choral music, his inherent rebelliousness and desire for freedom were also taking shape. By the time he was a teenager, Richards had already begun to explore the world of rock and roll, a world vastly different from the structured environments of his youth. His musical influences ranged from blues and rock to rhythm and blues, and he quickly became known for his raw energy and distinctive guitar style. This early life, steeped in both discipline and rebellion, created a unique foundation for Richards's career. His experiences as a choir boy and scout provided him with a range of skills and influences that would contribute to his development as a musician. The juxtaposition of his disciplined early years with his later rock star lifestyle underscores the complexity of his character and the evolution of his musical career. Richards' connection to his early experiences with choral music and the Boy Scouts can also be seen in his later projects. For instance, Richards, along with his Jamaican Rastafari friends, formed a group known as Jamaica's Wingless Angels. Since the 1970s, this group has been active in exploring and preserving traditional Jamaican musical forms. They use old choral hymns, chanting, and nyabinghi drumming to create a sparse, repetitive sound that harks back to Richards' early choral experiences. This project reflects how his early musical background continued to influence him throughout his career, blending his past with his present in a unique way. In Keith Richards' career, we cannot ignore the interesting relationship between him and Mick Jagger. Their collaboration has given birth to some of the greatest music in history, but their relationship has also been marked by significant tensions and public disputes. The dynamic between Jagger and Richards has been a roller coaster of professional triumphs and personal conflicts, reflecting the complex nature of their long-standing partnership. Their first major public rift occurred in the mid-1980s, a period that proved tumultuous for the Rolling Stones. Jagger's decision to embark on a solo career with his 1985 album, She's the Boss, was the beginning of a series of conflicts. The solo venture was a significant departure from the band's collective work, and it did not sit well with Richards. The situation deteriorated further when Jagger announced he would not be participating in the tour for the Stones' 1986 album, Dirty Work. This decision plunged the band into what Richards would later describe as World War III, a period characterized by intense internal conflict and a severe strain on their relationship. The rift was deepened by the release of Jagger's second solo album, Primitive Cool, in 1987, and Richards' own solo effort, Talk Is Cheap, in 1988. These releases seemed to signal the end of the Rolling Stones as their members pursued solo careers with seemingly little regard for the band's unity. The tension between Jagger and Richards reached a boiling point, and it appeared that their partnership was on the brink of dissolution. Despite these challenges, Jagger and Richards managed to reconcile by 1989. They reunited for the Steel Wheels tour, which marked the band's return to the spotlight and the resumption of their collaborative efforts. However, the peace was fragile and temporary. The band's public and private interactions continued to be strained, with frequent barbs and tactical apologies becoming part of their interactions. Richards' 2010 memoir, Life, offered a candid look into their strained relationship. In the book, Richards revealed that he had not visited Jagger's dressing room in decades, citing his discomfort with Jagger's presence and suggesting that Jagger had developed an inflated ego over time. The memoir portrayed Jagger as increasingly unbearable, further fueling speculation about the nature of their relationship. Richards's comments about Jagger extended beyond personal grievances. In life, Richards described how the band had devised a covert method to express their frustrations with Jagger. According to Richards, the other band members would refer to Jagger with nicknames such as Brenda or Her Majesty as a way to communicate their disdain while avoiding direct confrontation. The nickname Brenda was particularly used to refer to Jagger in a derogatory manner, allowing the band members to make jabs at him even when he was present. This form of passive-aggressive communication underscored the deep-seated issues between the two rock legends. In addition, Keith Richards and Tom Waits also share one of the most intriguing and enduring bromances in the world of rock and roll. Their relationship, which began in the mid-1980s, has been characterized by mutual respect, playful camaraderie, and a shared passion for music that has resulted in several notable collaborations and anecdotes. The origins of their friendship trace back to the release of Waits's 1985 album, Rain Dogs. Keith Richards, known for his distinctive guitar style and deep appreciation for diverse musical genres, contributed both guitar parts and vocals to some of the tracks on this album. This initial collaboration laid the groundwork for a long-standing musical relationship between the two artists. Their chemistry in the studio was evident, and their bond extended beyond their professional interactions. In 2013, Richards and Waits further cemented their friendship with a recording of the traditional sea shanty, Shenandoah. Their version of the song, featuring Richards' growling vocals and Waits' unique style, showcased their ability to blend their distinctive sounds into a compelling and memorable piece of music. This collaboration was not just a testament to their musical synergy, but also highlighted the deep respect and affection they have for each other. Their close relationship is also reflected in the humorous and irreverent ways in which they acknowledge each other. One of the most notable examples is a tongue-in-cheek poem written by Waits titled Keith Richards. In this poem, Waits humorously compares Richards to a fax machine, playfully mentions the color of his urine as blue, and likens him to a praying mantis with one ear located between his legs. This playful jibe underscores the comfortable and candid nature of their friendship, allowing for a level of irreverence and humor that only close friends can share. Despite their deep bond, their creative collaborations have not always been smooth sailing. The pair once attempted to co-write songs for Waits' Bad As Me album. During their songwriting sessions, an amusing incident occurred when Richards repeatedly shouted, "Scribe," while pointing at Waits. It took Waits a moment to realize that Richards was not calling for a scribe, but rather indicating that Waits should write down the improvised music they were creating. The incident highlighted the sometimes chaotic but ultimately creative nature of their interactions. Although Richards did not receive co-writing credits on the album, he did contribute guitar parts to a few tracks. The lead single, Satisfied, even featured a reference to both Richards and Mick Jagger, acknowledging their influence and presence in Waits's musical world. This will be a little-known secret. In 1965, Keith Richards purchased a luxurious Bentley S3 Continental flying spur, which he affectionately named Blue Lena, after the celebrated jazz singer Lena Horne. This vehicle became more than just a means of transportation. It became a symbol of Richards's rebellious spirit and the extravagant lifestyle that came with rock and roll fame. The Bentley S3 Continental flying spur, known for its sleek design and powerful performance, was a statement piece for Richards. The name Blue Lena reflected both his admiration for jazz and his own unique sense of style. For over a decade, the car was not only a symbol of opulence, but also a witness to many of Richards' adventures and misadventures. One of the most notorious episodes involving Blue Lena occurred in 1967, following a high-profile drug bust that resulted in legal troubles for Richards. To escape the media frenzy and legal pressure, Richards decided to embark on a dramatic journey through Europe, heading towards Marrakech, Morocco. The road trip was not merely an escape, but also marked the beginning of his relationship with Anita, a significant figure in both his personal life and the Rolling Stones' history. The romance blossomed in the back seat of Blue Lena, adding to the car's storied legacy. In 1976, the car's history took a darker turn when Richards fell asleep at the wheel and crashed Blue Lena into a tree. The impact was severe, leaving an indentation from Richards' nose on the dashboard. The accident was a stark reminder of the rock star's reckless lifestyle and the consequences of his turbulent existence. Despite the damage, Blue Lena remained a fixture in Richards' life for a few more years. By 1978, Richards decided to part ways with Blue Lena, and the car changed hands several times. Each new owner would have their own chapter in the car's story, but its connection to Richards remained a significant part of its identity. In 2015, the fully restored Bentley was put up for auction by Bonhams, a prominent auction house known for handling high-profile car sales. Bonhams described Blue Lena not only as a luxury vehicle, but also as a car that had been a part of the Rolling Stones' storied history. It was said to have transported the band to various concerts, parties, and other adventures, reflecting the high-octane lifestyle that defined Richards and his bandmates. Richards himself has described Blue Lena as a car that was meant to be driven fast at night. This sentiment captures the essence of his approach to both driving and life. To Richards, owning such a rare and luxurious vehicle was an act of rebellion against societal norms and expectations. It was a statement against the establishment, a manifestation of his desire to live on the edge and defy conventional standards. Richards' ownership of Blue Lena was more than just a reflection of his wealth. It was an embodiment of his personality and his rock and roll ethos. The Bentley was not a car he was born into, but rather a symbol of his own making and his resistance to being confined by societal expectations. In April 1971, Keith Richards secured the rental of a lavish yet historically infamous estate known as Villa Nel Coat, situated on the French Riviera. The villa's selection was initially a backup plan for the Rolling Stones, who had initially sought to record their groundbreaking album Exile on Main Street in a farmhouse in the French hills. When their search for a suitable farmhouse proved unsuccessful, the task of finding an alternative venue fell to Richards. Villa Nel Coat, with its rich and troubling history, emerged as the unexpected choice. Villa Nel Coat was far from an ordinary recording location. The estate had a dark past, having served as a Nazi headquarters during the German occupation of France in World War II. Richards and his bandmates encountered lingering remnants of this dark history, including swastikas that were still visible in the basement. The villa's grim past added an eerie dimension to the atmosphere as the Rolling Stones set up their temporary recording studio. The property was transformed into an unconventional recording space, blending elements of a backstage area with the disarray of a partially neglected hotel room. The combination of Villa Nel Coat's checkered history, along with the continuous influx of drug dealers, hangers-on, and high-profile visitors, contributed to an atmosphere that was as chaotic as it was inspiring. The villa's physical conditions, the oppressive heat, dripping walls, and poor air circulation in the basement further amplified the building's weird vibe. This unique environment played a crucial role in shaping the sound of Exile on Main Street. The album, released in 1972, is often described as having a swampy quality, a reflection of the unconventional recording conditions at Villa Nel Coat. The raw, gritty sound of the album has since earned it a place among the Rolling Stones' most esteemed works, celebrated for its blend of rock, blues, and soul. Despite the album's acclaim, Villa Nel Coat itself is not a popular destination for Rolling Stones fans. The villa's remote location on the French Riviera makes it challenging to access, and the current owner is not particularly welcoming to visitors. As a result, the estate remains a relatively obscure landmark in the history of rock and roll, despite its significant contribution to one of the Stones' most iconic albums. Keith Richards, renowned for his flamboyant and eclectic fashion sense, has long captivated audiences with his bold jackets, flowing scarves, and distinctive accessories. His style, however, is not as self-fashioned as it might seem. According to The Telegraph, Richards's signature look is rooted in a surprisingly simple approach. He often borrows clothes from the women in his life. The legendary guitarist, whose eclectic wardrobe inspired the iconic costume of Johnny Depp's Captain Jack Sparrow in the Pirates of the Caribbean series, frequently raids the closets of his wife, Patty Hansen, and his daughters, Alexandra and Theodora Richards. Richards has admitted that the majority of his clothing is borrowed from his family members. Despite the ostentatious appearance of his outfits, Richards maintains that he does not intentionally craft a costume, but simply wears what he enjoys. His daughter Alexandra has supported this claim, noting that her father possesses a unique ability to wear almost anything, whether it be her own clothes or even her mother's pajama pants, and make it look stylish and authentic. This adaptability in fashion reflects Richards's broader approach to his public persona, an effortless blend of personal comfort and style. Interestingly, Richards's fashion sense is not just an extension of his personal taste, but also a reflection of his rock and roll ethos. The fact that he can effortlessly incorporate women's clothing into his wardrobe is a testament to his fluid approach to style and identity. His penchant for mixing and matching items from his family's wardrobes results in a distinctive and iconic look that has become a hallmark of his public image. Despite his well-documented fashion experimentation, Richards has never engaged in swapping outfits with Mick Jagger, his longtime bandmate and fellow Rolling Stone. There is, however, one notable exception from the 1970s, when the entire band donned similar jackets. During this period of shared fashion, Richards recounted an incident where wearing a borrowed jacket led to an unintended consequence. Unbeknownst to him, one of the pockets in the jacket contained illegal drugs. The unfortunate mix-up resulted in Richards being caught and having to take the blame for the drugs, highlighting the unforeseen complications that can arise from a shared wardrobe. Keith Richards' life is a remarkable tapestry of survival and resilience, marked by a series of near misses and high-stakes accidents that seem almost scripted for an action hero. Despite the extraordinary risks he has faced, Richards continues to defy the odds, making his survival seem nothing short of miraculous. Richards' tumultuous history with life-threatening incidents dates back to his earliest days. During the London bombings of World War II, a Nazi V-1 rocket struck the area where baby Keith Richards was supposed to be sleeping. Fortunately, Richards and his mother had already evacuated the premises, narrowly escaping the destruction. This close call was an early indication of the guitarist's uncanny ability to dodge fatal events. In 1965, while performing on stage, Richards experienced another brush with danger. During a live show, his microphone malfunctioned and gave him an electric shock, causing his guitar strings to burn and rendering him unconscious. This incident not only put his health at risk, but also underscored the volatile nature of live rock performances. The early 1970s brought more perils for Richards. In 1971, he had a harrowing experience when he fell asleep while smoking in bed. The cigarette ignited the bedding, creating a fire that endangered both Richards and his partner, Anita. Remarkably, they both escaped without serious harm, but the incident highlighted the dangers of Richards' rock and roll lifestyle. The year 1973 saw yet another disaster when Richards' home, Redlands, was engulfed in flames. Though he insisted that a wire-chewing mouse was the cause, The incident added to his long list of misadventures. The mystery of the fire was a mere footnote in Richards's tumultuous life, which included another severe drug-related incident in the 1970s. Richards was poisoned by strychnine-laced drugs, experiencing one of the worst drug experiences of his life. In more recent years, Richards's mishaps have continued, albeit in more everyday settings. In 1998, he suffered a significant injury while reaching for a book in his library. The slip resulted in several broken ribs as heavy books fell on him, a stark reminder that even rock legends are vulnerable to mundane accidents. Perhaps one of the most dramatic episodes occurred in 2006, when Richards fell from a palm tree while on vacation in Fiji, attempting to forage for coconuts. The fall resulted in a severe skull fracture, necessitating brain surgery. This incident had lasting effects on Richards' health and was a pivotal moment in his life. What do you think about these little-known facts about Keith Richards? Leave us your comments in the section below. We hope you have found this helpful video. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe to the channel if you like it. Thank you for watching this and see you in the next videos. Goodbye.